Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Welcome to another episode of the NullNVoid podcast, where our insanity is your hilarity. As always, I'm Aaron.
Emmanuel.
And we are Team Null, at least 2/3 of it. So to just get the elephant out the room, Tristan is not in this episode. He's fine. We didn't get rid of him. He's not fired. Our friendship is not over. It's just
he's in the dungeon. Don't worry. He's all right.
Yes, dungeon. By dungeon, we mean this episode, it's going to be a singular topic. And it's a topic that only Emmanuel and I really know about the most. Tristan's not really into this kind of stuff, so he's sitting this one out. But don't worry, he'll be back for our usual shenanigans in the next episode.
Yep.
All right, and as for this topic, we're mainly going to be talking about movies, because in the past month, 2 months, we've both seen some movies, and there's been a lot of announcements regarding movies, so we just want to talk about movies.
Yeah. Movies for the first time in like over a year and a half, pretty much.
Give or take, yeah, because I remember the last recording we did, we chatted a bit about Fast and Furious, which we surprisingly did not see the most recent installment of.
Family.
Yes, and Dom Toretto became a meme.
Yes.
All right, but regarding films we've seen, so I should probably also explain this. This episode will contain spoilers for most films, but some of these films are available via streaming services like Disney Plus and HBO Max. And all we'll say is we'll try to give a further heads up of spoilers, but at the same time, I can't really give a timestamp of when spoilers will be. So just listen at caution is all I can say.
Yes, beware.
Yes, beware. All right. So speaking of streaming services, let's talk about the first movie we saw, Black Widow.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we saw that movie, actually. I guess that goes to tell you how forgettable it is as a whole. Pretty much. Let's start off right away. That movie was super forgettable, very unnecessary. And apparently, Scarlett Johansson had like an issue with Disney or something because they weren't supposed to release it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd have to agree with you there. I said that was the biggest weakness of the film, that it's going to be forgettable.
Yeah, it's only been like, what, a month and a half? And I forgot about it. I guess you're right.
To be fair, we did see a lot of movies within this last month and a half, give or take.
Well, not many. I've only seen like 3 more.
Sure, but those 3 more like stood in your brain a lot more than this film, which is a sad thing to say.
Yeah,
I think another issue of it is the way Marvel themselves kind of built this film up. This is meant to be like the first cinematic entry into Phase 4, not counting the Disney Plus shows like WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki. This is like the full film. Mm-hmm. And they also like to brand this as the Marvel film to bring people back to the theaters. So that's a lot of hype. And it's not that it didn't live up to it. It just felt like it underdelivered.
I'll say it didn't live up to it. I think it could have been a lot better.
Yeah. And like personally, I thought it was fine. But I think another issue with the film is not simply just the stuff regarding Marvel from a business standpoint. It's also in regards to what they've already created. Because again, spoiler, not spoiler, because Endgame has been out for like more than 2 years. Okay, I'm going to establish that as a rule. If I have to talk about a film that's more than 2 years old and you haven't seen it, that's your fault.
That is on you. Yeah, that is on you.
Yeah. So in Endgame, Black Widow died.
No way.
Yes, and a spoiler for every Batman film ever, Bruce Wayne's parents died.
God, fuck.
Anyway, yes. She died in Endgame, so I imagine people going into this movie are probably not going to care as much because they already know what's going to happen to her.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I feel another issue of this film is where it's set within the universe. So this film, despite being pushed as the first film of Phase 4, starts off back at Phase 3. And I mean like beginning Phase 3. This is immediately post-Civil War.
Yeah.
Yes, and Civil War came out back in 2015, I believe.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long while.
Yeah.
No one really cares about the events of Civil War anymore. So to have a film directly following that with a character we already know the fate of, it's kind of already fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And but regarding like the film itself, it was still a Marvel film and it was enjoyable in most aspects. The action was pretty good. The quips, they were hit or miss. Like some characters are funnier than others. And regarding the characters themselves, the cast was mostly pretty good.
Yeah, the only one I had issue with was well, it's gonna be kind of, well, not really a spoiler, but what was his name again? Was it Taskmaster or something like that?
Yes, Taskmaster. Well,
that one felt kind of weird when we found out who they were. I was like, okay, this doesn't make, well, not that it doesn't make sense. It just felt out of place.
It didn't feel out of place for me. It felt pretty predictable. Like the moment,
I guess so.
The moment Black Widow said that the person she was trying to kill had a daughter, and she took out the daughter with him, I was like, the daughter's gonna end up being Taskmaster. Like I can feel it in my gut. But that's also another thing. Yeah. If you're a comic book fan, most comic book fans had some issue with Taskmaster not being 100% accurate to the comics, which is normal in comic book movies nowadays.
Yeah.
I didn't really care.
Artistic interpretation, whatever.
Yeah, but my personal issue with it is just that Taskmaster was kind of boring.
Yeah, she really was.
Yeah, she was just your generic assassin, and like, I'm not mad that they didn't adapt the full version from the comics. I'm mad that they made a new version and didn't really do much with it. Yeah, but in regards to just other things regarding the characters I really do like Red Guardian, and the only thing that annoys me is that they didn't give him a shield.
Oh yeah, they were going for the whole like Russian Captain America theme, so it did feel
Red Guardian basically is.
Yeah, so it did feel out of place that he didn't have like a shield as well.
What's weird is like in the scene where he's in the prison and he got that toy in the mail, the toy has a shield.
Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah, and even weirder, the advertising, the marketing stuff, the merchandise that was actually put out for the film, like the actual toys and stuff, the toy of Red Guardian in like the real world has a shield.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it just seems like a giant oversight.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So overall, we did think Black Widow was good. The biggest problem is that it was forgettable.
Yeah. Well, for me, I liked like the beginning half of the movie a lot more than the later half. Like towards the end of the movie, I really felt the runtime, like I felt the runtime. So it was getting boring. I was like, God, when is this thing going to be over?
Yeah, it felt like it dragged a little too long.
Towards the end, yeah, for real. It did.
Yeah. But yeah, if you had to rate this movie out of 10, what would you give it?
Maybe like a 6? Close to 7, I don't know. Like I said, it wasn't terrible, but towards the end, it did get boring, and it is very forgettable. Like I stated before, I had completely forgotten. We watched it like a month and a half ago, so that should tell you something about the movie or about me. I don't know, but I think mainly the movie.
All right, so like a 6.5, would that be more comfortable?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
All right, 6.5. I'm around there too, between 6 and 6.5. This movie's not bad, but for the way it was built up and the way it paid off in its execution, it could have been better.
Oh, actually, now that I remember, I think I saw a meme like shortly after we saw the movie that the whole movie, the point of it was to show us how Natasha got her vest in Endgame. And I was like, you know what? They're not entirely wrong.
I mean, they aren't, but at the same time, I wasn't paying attention to that in Endgame because
neither was I.
Endgame was happening.
Yeah, neither was I. But when I saw the meme, I was like, oh wait, this is kind of true, actually.
What's weird is I haven't rewatched Endgame since then.
Yeah, me neither.
All right, on to the next film that we saw. That was Snake Eyes, and this is going to be a very interesting take for us.
Yeah, it was. Again, after looking back on it, it was all right. I liked it a lot more, like initially, but after rethinking things over, I'm like, this was just okay at best.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think we're in the minority on this, kind of, because I've heard other critics and such review this movie, and they don't really like it as much. I know we liked it.
Yeah, initially, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still mostly like it, but not as much as I used to.
Yeah, that's fair. But I should also probably state that we basically went into this film blind. And when I say that, I'm going to compare it to Black Widow. We have a decent enough knowledge about Marvel Comics in terms of films and just the actual source material. When it comes to G.I. Joe, collectively, we know nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
My only real experience with the series is I did see the second movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Back when it came out,
yeah,
it's probably the worst movie experience I've ever had because I was in the front and I had to hold my neck up for like 2 hours.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that was so uncomfortable. And I don't remember a thing about the movie outside of The Rock was in it.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. My only other experience, when I first got my PS3, one of the first games I played was the Rise of Cobra game that came out with it. And I thought that game was okay. Mm-hmm. I was younger. I didn't know like game criticism like that. I just played it. It worked fine. I beat it, whatever. Yeah. And the final memory I have, which is pretty shaky because it's mostly based on a familial standpoint, is one of the times I've met my maternal grandfather, he bought me G.I. Joe toys.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I had one too. Probably a long time ago.
Yeah. So walking into this film with basically no knowledge of the series at all, we just thought it was okay.
Yeah. It was a pretty all right action movie, I would say.
Yeah. Though if I had to find some flaws with it, whoever was in charge of promoting this movie, I feel like they dropped the ball hard in putting too much of the film in the trailers.
I feel like that's really a modern issue though nowadays. Like, I mean, kind of? For the most part, because I remember Marvel, they started doing, especially during Endgame, they started like editing their trailers so that it shows stuff that doesn't actually show up in the movie, which is kind of, I guess, lying to the audience. But I don't hate it entirely because a lot of trailers do show, I think, more than they should. And so when you go into the movie, you're expecting things to happen. And so there's no real suspense or like surprise anymore.
Yeah, Snake Eyes definitely did that. Like, I remember speaking with one of my college buddies, Arash, and you're not gonna, I don't know if you saw this or not, or you were aware of it, but apparently in one of the promotional materials, they showed the post-credit scene. Oh,
so Storm Shadow?
Yes, they showed the post-credit scene in one of the promotional materials.
I had no idea.
Yeah, like, that seems like a giant oversight. Like, you should not do that in any capacity.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, I feel like aren't Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes always super connected? So I don't think it's the worst, like the worst thing to do.
Yeah, no, but still, don't show something that you know the audience always waits in anticipation for in promotional material.
Yeah.
Like, because here's the thing, you rarely, if ever, see the end credit or post credit or mid credit or whatever credit scene in a trailer, unless they cut it in a specific way or film it differently. Like, what you're expecting the post credit scene to be is not actually what it turns out to be. So when you see it in the film, it's a different experience. But when you put the shot for shot scene in the promotional material, then people go see it and it's exactly what they expect for. It just kind of, it feels like you made a mistake there.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
But again, that's just me. I think trailers show way too much nowadays.
Maybe, maybe not. It depends on what the movie is and who's putting the trailers together, personally, for me. But regarding the movie itself, is it weird that this film is called Snake Eyes? Yeah, it feels like we learn more about Storm Shadow.
Kinda. I mean, again, I feel like I don't know G.I. Joe lore too much, but I feel like they're always very intertwined together. So it makes sense that it's like that's an origin story for both of them.
Yeah, but it feels like Storm Shadow pretty much overtakes the whole film in comparison to Snake.
Oh yeah. I feel like he was a protagonist for more important parts of the story than Snake Eyes was.
Yeah, but in regards to the film itself, like when we look at characters and such, I've heard people just like flat out not like Snake Eyes. They just say he's an unlikable character. And I kind of look at that and tilt my head in confusion because we kind of live in an age where unlikable characters are a thing and people are okay with them.
True. But I feel like there are some unlikable characters that are endearing in a way. And I don't know what was unlikable about Snake Eyes, but I guess he was a little bit all over the place, to like say the least. He was kind of boring at times also, but
yeah. I think what they mean when they say he's unlikable is the fact that he's just given this opportunity by Storm Shadow and such, and he's still working with the bad guys. They're learning they're the bad guys. But then, realization and stuff. Can I also say that, and I don't know if this is just general movies as a whole nowadays, but this movie was very predictable.
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
It really was.
Like the moment, again, spoilers, the moment his father died, I was like, in my head, I'm like, his father was a member of the Joes. And at the end, they tell us, oh, yeah, your father was a Joe.
Yeah. I mean, that felt obvious, though.
Yeah.
Why else would bad guys want to kill you?
Pretty much. Then there's also just why he has his name, Snake Eyes. I've had the moment he rolled the dice, I'm like, those dice are fixed.
Yeah, they loaded dice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Snake Eyes motif, I mean, you need like his name because he is Snake Eyes. Some people know that already. But the dice thing felt kind of out of place also a little bit. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, from what I saw, from what I look for in like a little bit of research, I remember that he got the name Snake Eyes from a saying his father told him, rather than just, a dice roll that ended his father's life and stuff. I imagine the whole end your father's life dice roll thing is more suspenseful than just some random saying, which I guess is fine. Yeah. But at the same time, when the aspect of it is so predictable, it's just kind of a shoulder shrug and move on.
Yeah.
All right, regarding the rest of the cast, outside of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
I forgot the girl's name.
Same.
But she was all right for the first half. And then in the second half, she became inexplicably interested in Snake Eyes for some reason. That felt so out of place because her character for the first half of the movie, she did not trust him at all. She was always on guard against him. And then towards the end, after Snake Eyes betrayed them, I think twice, she was so willing to trust him again. And I was like, but why? You didn't trust him initially. You were right the whole time. Why are you trusting him now?
Outside of her, I guess the only other characters I can probably think of are the main bad guy, whose name I'm forgetting. He's pretty generic. It's a typical revenge story.
Oh, yeah, the Yakuza guy.
Yeah, that guy. I don't remember anything about him outside of he used to be part of Storm Shadow's clan.
And he got exiled.
Yeah, I think he was next in line. He got exiled, and then he just wanted revenge, so started working with Cobra. This is basically Storm Shadow.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right.
Huh. Then there's Scarlet, who's probably the most forgettable character because she's just here for a fight scene. We don't learn anything about her character outside of she's a redhead woman who fights really well. Yeah, we just saw a movie about that, and we said that movie was pretty forgettable as well.
She was mainly there, like, in name only. If I'm being honest.
Then again, we don't know anything about the character herself, so we're kind of judging this on a.
Yeah, but still, she didn't do anything really.
Yeah. Then there's the Baroness, who's similar to Scarlet, in which she's just here in name. We don't really know anything about her.
Pretty much.
Then there's Hardmaster, who I only remember because of that name, Hardmaster.
Who was that?
He was the guy Snake Eyes fought with like the bowls of water.
Oh, the first master.
Yeah, the first master, Hardmaster.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was important to the story?
No, he wasn't, but he was like a character in the story and just like he had some impact on Snake Eyes. I'm like, okay, that was pretty cool.
He was all right.
Yeah. Then there's Storm Shadow's grandmother or mother. I forgot what she was.
Yeah, the grandma of the clan.
Yeah, she's all right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the general consensus we have on this film. It's just okay. A lot of these details are okay. The biggest problem is to feel like they have good buildup, but they don't finish. It's half-baked.
Yeah.
Or a lot of things are just not the way they could be. Like I said, characters like Scarlet and the Baroness are just here in name only. We don't know anything about them.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about Snake Eyes' purpose in the story and everything he does feels predictable. Yeah. And the most interesting character in this whole movie is Storm Shadow.
Yeah, he really is. I want to see a Storm Shadow movie now.
Same. But it's not going to happen because this movie flopped.
Yeah, it did flop entirely, yeah. I'm pretty sure because, well, first of all, it's still sort of pandemic, so not many people are going out to movies yet.
Yeah, and I don't think...
and also, it's G.I. Joe. It's cool, and, Snake Eyes is a ninja, and that's cool. But G.I. Joe isn't as popular as other mainstream things, I don't think.
What's strange to me is that okay, so the company who owns G.I. Joe, Hasbro has not had a decent movie streak. At least decent in terms of their films are generally well received. Hasbro's the same people who made Transformers, all 5 of them. Mm-hmm. But the thing that blows my mind is they made Bumblebee, and Bumblebee was really good.
Yeah.
So I kind of went into this movie with like blind faith because like this is an origin story about a Hasbro series, and I'm like, oh, the last movie about a Hasbro character with an origin story was actually pretty good, so maybe this was good. But no,
Well, I had no expectations, so
fair. But like I saw a lot of the trailers, and I thought the action was really cool, and the suit designs in this are really good too. I like all these suits.
yeah, really well done.
But overall, just it was okay. What would you rate this out of 10?
Like a 6 also, but a lower 6 for sure.
A lower 6? Wouldn't that just be a 5 at that point?
No, it's a 6. It's a solid 6.
Solid 6. So I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah, fair.
All right. The last movie we saw as a unit, and I say as a unit, even though we didn't see this movie together in theater, we both did see it, and that is James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yes, Guardians of the Squad.
Yes, Guardians of the Squad. So I think we could just come out and say it, no problem. We thought this movie was like really good.
It was
comparison to Black Widow and Snake Eyes.
Yes.
Black Eyes.
Black Eyes. Oh, let's make that a movie.
No, we're not making that a movie. In comparison to Black Widow and Snake Eyes, this movie was an absolute joy.
It was.
Yeah, everything about it was great.
Especially after 2016 Suicide Squad. Oh, baby.
I never saw 2016 Suicide Squad, but I heard a lot of things.
Yeah, but you know its reputation. It's terrible.
A lot of DC movies within that era are kind of terrible.
Yeah.
This was before Wonder Woman, so.
Yeah. But yeah, the Suicide Squad, really good.
Yeah.
Really enjoyable.
Yeah. I like the way it just kind of went about. I really got to admire James Gunn for taking a bunch of low tier unknown characters and just making them pretty much household names or making them really enjoyable.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns. I had no idea who anybody was except Harley Quinn and what's his name? Bloodsport.
Yeah. Well, you knew the actor. I don't know if you knew the character.
Sort of. Yeah. I feel like he's just kind of like Deadshot.
Kind of. His story is like a lot different. I say this as someone who reads comic books, so like the only comparison that Bloodsport and Deadshot have in common is that they're both good with guns. Yeah. That's pretty much it. But yeah, outside of characters I know since I read comic books.
Oh, and Boomerang. Boomerang from the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he was in it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. So to no surprise, I pretty much thought of this the moment I saw the trailers. There's technically 2 different Suicide Squad teams. And the best way I break them up is the team with all the A-list actors and the team with Pete Davidson.
Yes, you get the team with
Pete Davidson dies in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. It was funny.
They all went out like in crazy ways. That's another thing about this film. This film definitely earned its R rating.
Oh yeah, it was gory. It was super gory. I was not expecting it.
And here's the thing. Everyone in that first slaughter goes out in a way that's completely it's unique, but at the same time, the most predictable one to go out is I think his name was Savant. And that's when Amanda Waller just blows his head up, so you know what to expect regarding like the whole point of the Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. Now, regarding the A-list actor team with Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, and that guy in the Peacemaker outfit, I don't know what his name is. Like, I'm lucky I can see him though.
Yeah, I could barely see him the entire time.
Everyone on that team, those characters, they were really good. Like, this film made me care about people named Ratcatcher and Polka Dot Man.
Oh, I love Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, Polka Dot Man was pretty fun. But if I had to say, like, some of my favorite things in this film, which are a lot, I already said how people die, which is kind of morbid in a sense. But again, this film is called Suicide Squad. So
yeah, what are you expecting?
You know what you're walking into. But
and I love horror movies, so I love seeing gore. So seeing all that gore on screen was, felt like a treat.
Yeah, but I also like just details about the characters. Like Idris Elba's character, Bloodsport. He's just a guy who does bad things, but he kind of has a good origin reason as to why he kind of ended up that way. And even though he's a bad person, deep down he does care about certain things. Like there's a whole scene that's been blasted to hell on the internet about him and his daughter arguing while he's in prison, just screaming "fuck you" at each other.
Yeah.
But after like Amanda Waller tries to recruit him for the squad, and she tells him about all the terrible details that could happen to his daughter if she goes on trial for something that's not really that big of a deal, but because of where they're based in terms of the United States, she could be put into the same prison as him, and that prison's fucking terrible. He actually shows that he does somewhat care about his daughter. Also, can we just acknowledge that Amanda Waller is a fucking terrible person?
Yeah, she really is.
I love it.
Yeah. She's really good at portraying somebody you hate.
Here's the thing. Amanda Waller has good intentions, but she's not above using terrible means.
Does she?
To some degree, yes. Like, in some degree, yes. Like, I say this as someone who reads comic books. Amanda Waller's intentions are mostly good, but sometimes the methods she'll use to obtain them are not always perfect. Then again, this team is called the Suicide Squad. You disobey what she says, she'll kill you.
Yeah. And she will kill you.
Yeah. Look at Savant.
Yeah.
Also, I love Bloodsport's weapons. I say this as someone who loves Tokusatsu, and I just saw my favorite scene is when he assembles his largest gun.
Oh yeah, his big ass gun.
Yeah,
that thing was cool.
The Kamen Rider fan in me just like came out in glee.
Yeah, that was really cool.
All right, let's talk about probably the biggest star in this film, Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Num Num.
Yes, we'll get to King Shark eventually, but
I think he was the star of the show.
We'll get to him in a bit, but like just Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and who's come a long way. And I gotta say, she was really on the ball in this one.
Yeah, I think she's really good as Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
they did a good job casting her initially. Yeah.
A lot of people give Margot Robbie the same credit that they give Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool, in which she is best
Harley
person
Quinn
to play this character.
Yeah, I agreed.
Yeah, same. But also, I like looked at this later, but you can tell in all the movies she's been in that every Harley Quinn is somewhat different, and that kind of paints her development.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Again, I've never seen the we'll slap David Ayer's name on it, but it's really by Warner Brothers version of Suicide Squad. So I don't know that version of Harley Quinn, but
she's a lot more obsessed with the Joker, I will say.
Yeah, and
much more dependent on him. And
that makes sense given Harley's origin and such. And I know that in Birds of Prey, which I didn't see, but again, it's very divisive down the middle that Harley is still really good there. And this is where the Deadpool comparison's coming again, and she's basically DC's version of Deadpool in this movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's a lot more independent. She pretty much has to be to kind of just prove herself, get away from the Joker as far as possible because she realized the Joker's a terrible person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have this film, and this Harley's just allowed to be around more people and accept them, even though she herself is terrible because all these other people are terrible.
Yeah.
But even then, like, Harley has some really dope moments. There's a scene where she just kills a bunch of guards.
Where she goes psycho killer? Yeah, that was epic.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then she had that moment where I believe she killed the
ex-president or whatever.
Yeah, I think. Like, I don't remember his full title, but he was in charge of, like...
He was the president. He was the president, I think, until...
Yeah, you can, like... That really paints the picture of her development because she talks about... Without saying his name, she basically says, like, after being with the Joker, she's on the lookout for
toxic men.
Yes. And,
pretty much.
If she needs to cut the cord there, she'll do it.
And she did.
Yeah. So good on you, Harley.
Yeah.
Now, since you mentioned him, let's talk about King Shark. So I'm just going to make the giant comparison that a lot of people have done with this movie, given the director. King Shark is basically Groot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, though it feels like he's built like the first Guardians of the Galaxy Groot with the brain and mindset of baby Groot.
Yeah, and it makes sense. He's huge, but he's kind of stupid also.
Kind of stupid. This dude's illiterate as hell.
Oh yeah, who isn't though?
A lot of people.
I guess.
The better question is, what shark people are not illiterate?
Probably all of them. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, but King Shark was just really entertaining because he's so dumb, but it's a lovable kind of dumb. Even though, again, he's kind of terrible and
he's a killing machine. Yeah.
Yeah, but you could kind of expect that of him.
He rips people in half That was epic.
That scene was fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So we cracked a joke about him, but let's actually give him his due diligence. Let's talk about John Cena as Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Again, as someone who reads comics, this is a pretty on-spot portrayal of the Peacemaker in some degree. I remember reading somewhere that James Gunn told John Cena that he's basically playing a douchier version of Captain America, which is kind of funny because I remember when there were rumors of a fourth Captain America film, and they said the person to replace Steve Rogers, or at least Chris Evans, would be John Cena.
Oh.
So that's kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peacemaker is very much dedicated to his cause for better and worse, and
bringing peace.
And that very much shows itself. It also helps degree just how violent this movie is. Like, okay, we gotta get into spoilers again. So another character from the first film, Rick Flag, he dies.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, this dude got a freaking Mortal Kombat death.
He did. They even showed you it and everything.
Yeah, like I remember being in my seat and I just like put my hands over my mouth and nose. I was like, oh my God. Because nothing like that had happened yet.
He got fatality'd.
I'm just like, damn.
Yeah.
Also, I liked his little rivalry with Bloodsport, which was
that was fun.
Funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, what do? I do what you do, but better.
Yeah, I wouldn't say better. He does it with a little more style. And even then, that's debatable because honestly, I think Bloodsport has more style since, he has more versatility.
And also, it's Idris Elba.
Yeah.
That man has a lot of style.
Yeah. Overall, John Cena's Peacemaker was pretty cool. And he will be getting an HBO series, an HBO Max series, but I don't know when that's coming out. I know they finished it, but I don't know when it's coming out. We mentioned them before, so I guess we'll go over Ratcatcher and Polka Dot Man. I did not expect to leave this movie saying that I really like Ratcatcher. Or I guess Ratcatcher 2, but at the same time, I feel like it's pointless to call her Ratcatcher 2 when the first Ratcatcher is dead, so just call her by basic Ratcatcher.
Yeah, she was probably the most likable out of all of them, naturally.
Yeah, she was kind of the heart of the team in a way.
Yeah, she really was.
She also has a good relationship with Bloodsport. It shows that deep down, Bloodsport is a good person.
Oh, yeah.
He does terrible things.
Yeah, she was basically the daughter during the entire movie.
Yeah, she was his moral compass in a way.
Yep.
Yeah. There's also Sebastian the Rat.
Oh, yes. What a cutie.
I didn't expect to like him, but he's enjoyable. But I also got to kind of treat him like Baby Groot, where I feel like people are going to like him more than what he actually was worth in the film. But I will say that last scene of just Bloodsport petting him, that was perfect.
Yeah, that was top tier.
All right. Now, Polka Dot Man.
Oh, I love Polka Dot Man.
He's such a weirdo, and yet it works so well.
Yeah, I know. The guy who portrayed him did a really good job depicting his weird energy.
Yeah, what's weird is the kind of consistency of his actor. I don't know his actor's name, but he has a weird consistency with superhero movies. And in this version, I'd say he's at his best.
Yeah, he really is.
I also just found it funny, even though it's weird, that every person he looks at, he just sees his mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was real mommy issues.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, what else could we talk about with this film?
I don't know, actually. Have we touched on Starro yet?
No, we haven't. Starro the Conqueror.
Yes. The big star boy.
Oh, yeah. While we're talking about it, the Thinker. First of all, I totally did not know that the Thinker was Peter Capaldi until I left the movie theater. And even then, I kind of hate myself for it because I dabbled in the Doctor Who fandom for a bit. And I remember when Peter Capaldi was one of the doctors, and I'm just like, I did not recognize him. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, also, freaking the Thinker, jeez, he got a gruesome death.
Oh, yeah, he did. He got torn to pieces, right? I think.
No, I think either he got torn to pieces or Starro freaking threw him against bulletproof glass and he just splattered.
Oh, I think, one of those two.
Yeah.
Or both, actually. I think it might have been
expecting
both.
something to happen to his head because, all the action was going on in his head.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Yeah, but Starro the Conqueror, he was all right, I guess.
He was innocent.
Yeah, he was innocent. Like, he didn't deserve any of what happened. I blame the Thinker. But at the same time, taking out all his aggression on just the rest of humankind.
Mm-hmm.
Even bad guys would look at him and say, we should probably stop that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Starro is just okay.
Yeah, he was just there, but he was a good final villain, I would say.
Can we say anything about Rick Flag?
I don't actually know. I mean, I guess he was there as a guide also for most of the movie because he was one of the good guys, and we know him from the first movie if you saw it.
I guess I could say he was better in this movie because it felt like he had a more genuine character, whereas in the first movie, he's just very much a fill-in. Then again, a lot of the characters in that first movie don't feel like actual characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you couldn't tell, we really do like Suicide Squad. I'm on the verge of saying that this movie is probably my new favorite DC movie. I'm on the verge of it.
Maybe.
I still like Aquaman more, and it still blows my mind that I can say that Aquaman is my favorite DC movie.
Yeah,
but this
Aquaman.
one is definitely up there. Like, I gotta rewatch Shazam, and I'm gonna have a debate between either the Suicide Squad or Shazam as my second favorite.
I've never seen Shazam, so I wouldn't know.
It's really good, really good. It's fun.
All right.
But okay, what would we rate this out of 10?
I'd give it like an 8.5.
That's pretty good. I would aim between like 8 and 9, so I guess 8.5 as well. But I'm so tempted to give it a 9 because
I know
it's almost perfect.
It's almost very up there.
Yeah, probably the best movie we've seen out of just everything we've seen so far.
Yep.
All right, now on to just movies we've seen as individuals. These are basically two different movies that we saw. I know you saw Free Guy.
I did.
And I saw Space Jam: A New Legacy. So I guess I'll let you go first since Free Guy was more recent.
So while I was in Mexico, by the way, I was on vacation for a bit. I went to go see Free Guy. And honestly, I went in not expecting much because the concept of it is basically it's kind of like GTA, but in a movie featuring Ryan Reynolds, like he's the protagonist. So I wasn't expecting much. But after watching it, and everybody I went with said the same thing, we all enjoyed it a lot more than we expected to. And we want to see it again. Well, I haven't yet, but I might, just because why not? But yeah, it was a lot more fun and I guess unique than I was expecting it to be.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, the movie is basically just Ryan Reynolds being himself again. So if you've seen Deadpool, you've seen Detective Pikachu, you kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, but that's why people are more attracted to Ryan Reynolds nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's funny. He has charisma and whatever.
Yeah, and for a lot of men, he's that free pass if they don't swing that way. But it's Ryan Reynolds.
Jason Momoa, probably for me, but
same.
He's a close second. But yeah, it was I don't know. I just had low expectations because I was like, how good could a movie about GTA really be? Because I remember, I think Ready Player One, I didn't see it, but I think its reviews weren't the best. I don't know. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it, but I read the book.
Oh, okay. So yeah, just going off that, I wasn't expecting much, but I don't know. I guess well, first of all, Ryan is a really good protagonist for the whole GTA setting because he is kind of crazy and out there. And I guess it was really cool seeing lots of YouTubers and streamers like cameo during certain parts of the movie. Like Ninja was in it, Jacksepticeye was in it, Pokemon was in it for a bit.
Well, we know that got your positive approval already.
Well, I know she was in it. It was still weird seeing all those, streaming personalities on the big screen. It's like, wow, this is kind of cool.
You've come a long way.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I don't know what else I could say. I mean, I was really entertained. It's not like a profound movie.
Far from it.
I mean, it kind of is because I'm going to spoil a bit. But basically, the guy, his name is Guy.
Not confusing at all.
He's basically an AI that the two protagonists, the two other protagonists made. And he's an AI he's an AI, He's not just an NPC. He's an artificial intelligence. And eventually he starts to realize that he has like sentience. And so as a result, since his world is chaotic and crazy and it's GTA, so there's lots of murder, lots of robberies and whatnot. So he wants to be the good guy. And essentially he gets a pair of glasses, which in the movie is something only the players can use, and he ends up fighting crime in a way. And in the movie, he becomes this big sensation, which obviously grabs a lot of attention, but it's not really good for the development of the game in a way because, well, again, since it's GTA, you know what you're expecting: a lot of violence, a lot of robbery, and whatever. So a good guy doesn't really fit with that whole motto.
Yeah, unless you're the player.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless you're a player who decides to be a good guy. And so yeah, that was kind of the big conflict of the movie, was eventually the creator tries to erase that world, and Ryan Reynolds, with the help of the people on the outside who aren't in the game, try to stop it. And I don't know, it was interesting because you never really think about it, actually, that NPCs could have feelings, you know, maybe. I mean, they probably don't, because Ryan Reynolds was an AI, and so was everybody else. It turns out everybody else was kind of an AI also.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it was interesting, to say the least.
All right, what would you rate it out of 10?
I'd give it like an 8.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, like I said, I want to watch it again. I think, if nothing else, it was really fun. Just watching Ryan Reynolds do his wacky thing with all the other characters. And again, if you know any of the streamers or YouTubers who are on there, you're going to be like, oh, wow, they've come a long way. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. That's cool.
So, yeah, that was about it for me.
Yeah. So as for the movie I saw by myself, I saw Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Ah, nice.
Yes, and I already know what I'm about to say. A lot of people are either going to agree with me or get pissed off. But there's nothing more I can do but tell the truth.
Ah, yes, hot takes.
Yes. So let's start with the first one. I like Space Jam: A New Legacy. Mm-hmm. And now for the second one. I like it more than the original.
Okay.
Yeah. Because here's my biggest criticism with it. While the original is iconic because it did the whole live action with animation thing, which at that point was a rarity. Mm-hmm. Like only very few movies did it, and especially with the Looney Tunes, because now we have 3 movies that do that.
Yeah. My
thing is, it's iconic, but it's also boring.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not really entertained by anything that goes on. And I remember watching another review that said the first Space Jam at least celebrated the Looney Tunes, but really the Looney Tunes feel very weak in that film. Like they don't feel like they're at their peak. To me, the best live action film with the Looney Tunes was Looney Tunes Back in Action because they feel like themselves. These films, not really, at least not till the end where, spoiler, not spoiler, but again, with this premise is very predictable.
They beat the bad guys?
Well, yes, there's that. But the famous basketball player just suddenly learns, oh, wait, if I want to win, I got to let the Looney Tunes be the Looney Tunes.
Oh, yeah.
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 But again, I say I like this film more because even when it does that, these guys feel more like their actual Looney Tunes selves than they did in the original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people complain about this is Warner Brothers just throwing a bunch of stuff they own at your face. And yeah, that's true. But really, it's only going to bother you if you're very easily distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw this film twice. And the first time I was just really focused. Yeah, I was bored one day and I just put it on again. So the first time I wasn't paying attention to all the things in the background, like all the characters and stuff like that. I was focused on just, the narrative aspect. Yeah, and the narrative is not terrible, but at the same time, it's a basketball game with the Looney Tunes. This isn't freaking Shakespearean. So I don't understand what you're complaining about in that regard. But when I saw it the second time, I did notice all the little details in the background, like characters, some imagery. It was cool. It's nice, but I don't think it's as distracting as people keep claiming it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If anything, if I had to think of just general weak stuff on this film, I'd sadly have to say the villain, which is really, really hard for me to
Wasn't
say.
It Don Cheadle or something?
Yes, and here's the thing. I like Don Cheadle as an actor.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yes, but in most of the things I've seen him in, I cannot give him due diligence. I'm sure he did his best, but the roles they gave him and the way those roles are written are just so meh.
Mm-hmm.
This one specific, he plays an algorithm called Algorithm.
God, yes.
Yes. So,
okay.
And he's mad. He's just mad because LeBron James doesn't want to work with the whole Warner 3000 thing that's basically the ultimate streaming service. And that's his whole premise, his whole backboning of why he does what he does. He's upset that LeBron James turned him down. And I'm just looking at this like, okay, I understand that's devastating, but at the same time, why don't you move on to another option?
Yeah, true.
Like, don't get me wrong. I imagine getting rejected by LeBron James is devastating to most people and, well, a lot of people. But even then, with the way they set it up in the film, he acts like Warner Brothers has no other choice but LeBron James. And I'm just looking at this like, dude, get someone else. Get the most well-paid actor in Hollywood. Get freaking Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And again, I get it because of the premise of the film. But even then, I'm just looking at him like, dude, you are dumb. You wasted all of our time because you want to be petty. Yeah. But again, I do like this film more than the original. Most people might hate me for that, and I don't really care. It is what it is. This film at least tries to entertain me, even if it doesn't always land it. The first film, I'm bored out of my mind by like the 5-minute point, and every time it tries to make me laugh, I'm just kind of rolling my eyes and not laughing.
All right. Makes sense. I mean, to be fair, I don't remember the first one like either, so...
Neither did I. I had like a sporadic... watching of it when I was a kid, I would always just come into it at random points. Like I would see when Michael Jordan got brought into Toon World. I would see them like training. I would see them. I would see Bugs and Daffy go into the real world. And that's another thing these films don't bother to explain: how the hell the Looney Tunes can get to the real world and how like normal people can get to Toon World. But that doesn't bother me as much. Actually, no, that's a lie. The second film, A New Legacy, kind of explained that in some capacity. But okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, I also get to the part where Bill Murray's like in the first film, and even then, Bill Murray is not funny in this film.
Oh wow,
he's not. Like then again, I don't think Bill Murray's humor is just kind of for me. I have laughed at some stuff he's been in, but this one just feels like awkward jokes. They don't work to me. Yeah, but overall, like again, the first film, it's iconic. And you remember it because it stands out in your head. But when you actually watch it, it's boring. This film, it at least tries to entertain you. And I can admit, it doesn't always get the job done. Some jokes are hits and others are misses. But more times than none, it'll entertain you just because of the craziness that's going on, whether it be directly on screen or in the background. And sometimes it'll get a laugh at you, even if it's not intentional. So yeah.
Okay.
Space Jam: A New Legacy. If I had to rate it and do a direct comparison to the original in terms of a rating, if I were going to rate the first one, I'm giving that a solid 5 because it's not terrible, but again, it is boring. Like the premise is fine, the idea is fine, the execution is fine, but I'm just not all that interested in it once it starts picking itself up.
Okay. Fair.
But this one, Space Jam: A New Legacy, I'm going to give it a 6.5, leaning towards 7. I enjoyed it a lot more.
All right, not bad.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we'll get into the final section of this movie episode. We're going to talk about upcoming movies and like trailers we've seen for upcoming movies.
Oh, yes.
All right, so if we haven't given it away already, this is going to be very superhero focused. So I guess the first one we could talk about, the trailer for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. All right.
So where do you want to begin?
Well, as someone who saw the first Venom, I don't know if you saw the first one.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. This one actually looks to be a pretty okay sequel. It's going to tackle things from the Venom mythos that I'm sure people are aware of, but not all that invested in. Like, I feel like the moment you hear Venom, you're also going to think of Carnage because he's heavily associated with the character.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you're walking into this film, there are going to be some other things in there that going to be new to you. There's a character called Shriek. I don't know a lot about her, but she was like a lover of Carnage or something. And she's also a character in this. So I'm very interested to see how it's going to go about this section of a narrative.
Yeah. Carnage has always been a serial killer, right? Like even in the comics and stuff. Okay. Makes sense.
But at the same time, that makes it very interesting how this film will play out, because when you watch the first Venom, it's not good, but it's very entertaining, and that can speak a whole lot about why this film exists. Because while the critical reviewings of the first film were pretty they weren't that great, everyone still went and saw it, and it made more than enough of what its budget was in the box office.
Yeah, I liked it actually. I mean, maybe story-wise it wasn't the best, but yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I like the dynamic Eddie and Venom have.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. Yeah. If that film had any weaknesses, it's kind of sort of the other characters, like Eddie's girlfriend, his ex.
Oh yeah,
she feels very one note, and she never changes her facial expression. At least I never saw her change her facial expression.
Yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah, she mostly had the same face throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. Then you have her new boyfriend, and he just serves his purpose. He's not terrible, but he's here for one thing, and that's it.
He's just there, yeah, to be the source of conflict.
Yeah. And then we have the two villains, the business guy. I can't remember his name at this immediate moment, but the
business guy.
The guy who owns the Life Foundation, and the other symbiote whose name I'm forgetting. I think it was Rage.
I don't remember either. I just know he was like kind of grayish.
Yeah. Here's another strange dynamic where the human villain is a lot more compelling because we know what he wants. We learned all this throughout the film. But you have the symbiote villain who is just boring filler.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's literally here because we need an enemy symbiote.
He's just a tool, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they for sure didn't flesh out that dynamic as much as Venom and Eddie because, obviously they're the protagonists. So I can't fault them, but yeah, he was just kind of there as a tool.
At least with Cletus Cassidy, we have a lot more chance to flesh things out.
Oh,
Even though, as a character, Cletus Cassidy is a bit one note since he's just a serial killer.
I mean,
that's all that matters to him.
Yeah, but serial killers usually, how do I say this? They're very charismatic. They can capture an audience pretty easily, I would say.
Yeah,
I think he even says in the trailer at one point that people love serial killers, and
that's very
he's
true.
not wrong. He's not entirely wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't count on my one hand the number of Ted Bundy documentaries there have been.
Oh yeah, the Zac Efron one. Oh baby.
I didn't see that, but I know it exists.
It was alright. All
right. But yeah, this film is definitely gonna be interesting to look at, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I've heard rumors that it's apparently going to be pushed back to January of next year.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that too.
Yeah,
but
I'm
I wasn't
not sure why, but I know I heard that.
It better not be. I mean, it could be, but
yeah,
I don't know why they would.
The world.
I mean, true, but when is it slated for initially?
I think October or November, one of the two.
That's a big setback.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I mean, it might be the whole thing going on, but still, it's kind of weird because I feel like they've been starting to release movies according to schedule, I think, for the most part.
Yeah. Or at least the movies that were delayed are now making their new schedule.
Oh, that might be why, actually.
Speaking of delays, we can segue into our next film worth talking about, The Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I saw both trailers of the Eternals. I don't know about you.
I saw the newest one. I think. Yeah, I had no idea there was a first one.
Yeah, but regarding both of them, I really like the first trailer. Like the way it set it up was just really cool, and I love the music in it as well.
Oh yeah, the music was really sick.
Yeah, but as the most recent trailer, the one we both saw, my only issue with it is kind of the last scene before it cuts to Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just feels like such a weird scene to cut away from. Like you would think we'd get a more triumphant look at the hero. I believe his name is Icarus. I don't know the name of the actor. I know he was in Game of Thrones, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the way they just cut that, it just didn't sit with me. The rest of the trailer, it's pretty good. It definitely has me interested, and I'm with everyone else asking where were the Eternals during Endgame and such.
They weren't cast yet.
That's one reason. The other reason is, we'll find out when we watch the film.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, pretty much. It's just basically they have it planned out, so they can't be there beforehand, I don't think. Or it would screw things up.
Yeah. But I'm definitely interested in the Eternals, and it's another case similar to the Guardians of the Galaxy where a lot of people are going to walk into this completely unknown because the Eternals aren't exactly A-listers in terms of comic book. But,
yeah, I have no idea who they are.
Yeah,
but, I mean, they sound cool. They look cool.
Yeah, but
the guy Icarus, he looks like Superman. Well, yeah, he kind of looks like he has like Superman's powers, I think, or similar.
I believe so. Yeah.
Similar enough. They look very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it because, I guess Marvel's starting up Phase 4 finally. Like, I mean, Black Widow was technically the beginning of Phase 4, you could say, but nah, not really.
We already discussed what the issues with that were.
Yeah. So this one, no, actually, what's coming up? Isn't
Shang-Chi, yes.
Yeah, that one. That one's also in Phase 4, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to it.
It looks like it's going to be epic, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting take to see what Marvel does with another set of what are essentially gods.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right. Since we mentioned him, and it's upon the horizon, and by that I mean it's coming out this Friday, let's talk about Shang-Chi.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, I don't know anything about the character himself.
Neither do I.
I'm just going in blind. But from the trailers, I mean, it looks good also. It doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, I've had a very strange outlook on this film because, like, I'm looking forward to it because I have a secret love of martial arts films, and I just always gleam some joy out of any martial arts film I've watched. But this one, I feel like the fact that it's a Marvel movie, it might bog that down a bit.
Maybe. I can see that happening.
Yeah, I've heard a few reviews so far, and people are saying it's actually good. So that already gleams some positivity from me in terms of expectations.
Yeah. I'm still going in, no expectations, because again, I have no idea what the source material is, but I mean, it does look really cool. The whole world, how they showed it in the trailers looks really interesting and epic.
Yeah, the way the trailers were set up were really good, and they definitely seemed action-packed.
Mm-hmm. Also, the rings. Oh, baby, the rings.
Yeah, that actually surprised me that they changed the rings to actually just be on the arms and not on the fingers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in the comics, I assume these are what they are in the comics. The Makluan rings, they're actually rings you put on your fingers.
Huh. Well, I guess, yeah, that would be a little bit more boring to like show it on the big screen, maybe. I don't know.
Especially in comparison to the Infinity Stones, which technically went on a glove and were essentially tied to someone's fingers.
Yeah, that too.
All right, so I guess that makes sense now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're gonna give Shang-Chi a chance.
I mean, again, yeah, it's a new Marvel movie. It's beginning of Phase 4. So I think most people are anticipating whatever comes out at this point. But I mean, at least the ones that are coming out look very good.
Definitely. All right. And we talked about the two newest editions. So let's backtrack. And this will be the final thing we talk about. We're going to return to an old favorite because we finally got an actual trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, Tom Holland. Did you leak it? Did you leak it again?
Nah, I don't think he's responsible for this one.
If only he was. That would have been epic.
When it comes to Tom Holland, he'll just accidentally say something. I don't think he's the type to post anything. To my knowledge, I haven't seen him accidentally post anything. But even then, I don't know who would give him the full cut together trailer and say, don't post anything about it.
some meme lord.
Nah.
On the production team.
That dude would be fired on the spot.
Maybe, but it'd be funny.
Yeah, but yes, No Way Home. We saw the trailer, and everyone is definitely anticipating this film.
Yes, for many reasons, probably.
I can name one. It's called Tobey Maguire fans.
Oh, baby. Oh. At the end of Far From Home, I was just happy to see J. Jonah Jameson again.
You and everyone else.
And now they bring this out, and I'm like, yes, my boy. Maybe, I don't know. Still speculation, but at least, my boy Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is in it.
Yeah, he looks really good for a guy who hasn't been in the role since
15 years or something.
Give or take. I don't remember when Spider-Man 2 came out, but it's been a long time, and I haven't seen Alfred Molina in anything else. Crazy, at least to my knowledge, I haven't.
Crazy enough, he looks the same, maybe even a little younger.
He looks older. He looks more disheveled.
Maybe, but I don't know. He looks mostly the same, though.
Yeah, he looks mostly the same, but I wouldn't say he looks younger. He looks a bit more disheveled. He's got some age on him.
I mean, fair. It has been 15 or so years, probably.
Yeah. But regarding other details in the trailer, there's obviously the pumpkin bomb. So
oh, yes. Are we going to get Defoe? Are we going to get him in this? I hope so.
We don't know. Like the last superhero film I think Willem Dafoe was attached to was Aquaman, which I've said is really good. It's my favorite DC movie.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah, but if he comes back to the green suit for this Spider-Man film, we don't know. We just got to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a bunch of other people like speculate on other villains based on the imagery you saw. We saw a lightning bolt, so people were automatically assuming. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing since he's tied to the Spider-Man movie most people hate.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure in that same scene there was like a sandstorm, so people are expecting the other guy.
Sandman. I don't remember his actor's name, but like Sandman. And even then, with the way Sandman was set up in his own film, I don't think he's a necessary villain for this one.
No, yeah, he was more of a circumstantial villain, I would say. You know, he wasn't a bad guy. He was not entirely.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to be in this film.
I mean, other than the whole nostalgia baiting, I guess, but you know.
Oh yeah, I'll get to nostalgia baiting in a second. Don't you worry.
And the fifth one, I think people saw Reptile too in a scene. I think
I saw no reptile anywhere. I don't know what people talk about.
I think I know what scene they're talking about. I could see why people think it's Reptile.
I guess. Like as a villain, he was just very The Lizard's plan just kind of didn't make much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt like he just went crazy. But we kind of expect that out of Spider-Man villains. Just look at Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah. Pretty much.
I think it's the fact that Willem Dafoe had some campiness tied to his crazy, and the Lizard was a serious kind of crazy, but it was a serious kind that felt a bit nonsensical.
The first reptilian.
And since we mentioned the first of those respective villains in those respective films, we have the infamous question of whether or not we'll see the return of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I hope so.
I mean, I'm not holding out any high hopes. At best, we'll get a cameo.
I mean, yeah, that's all I'm expecting too. But even that, oh, baby. My boners. And everybody else's boners, probably.
Except mine.
Yeah, because you're one of those new age fellows.
It's not even that. It's like, okay, so Emmanuel and I have been talking about this ever since the trailer came out. Even before that, like long before that, since like... since we saw Far From Home, I do not hate the Sam Raimi films. Far from it. I'm like everyone else. I grew up with them. They have a special place in my heart. However, it's the fact that I've grown up and I appreciate the way stories are told a bit more alongside the character details and such, that I can look at the Sam Raimi films, still enjoy them, but I acknowledge that they're flawed. They're not perfect. Everyone else is looking at them like they're gospel because they're eternally equipped with the crimson goggles of bleeding nostalgia.
True.
Yeah, and even then, I can admit Tom Holland films are flawed. They're not perfect. They suffer the same issues that other Marvel films have. That's true. But I don't hold them up as gospel. I just say that they're really good Spider-Man films because they are really good Spider-Man films.
Well, the second one was okay, but yeah.
You don't give me a reason why you don't like the second one.
I gotta rewatch it. I just didn't like it as much.
All right, fine. But if you ask me, the best Spider-Man film, hands down, is Into the Spider-Verse. That blows every other film out of the water. The only other contender now is this one.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's attempting to do the same thing.
But not counting that, Spider-Man 2.
Fuck Spider-Man 2. In regards to this trailer, from a narrative standpoint, it's definitely going to be interesting because we haven't really seen Spider-Man deal with this, at least in a live-action format.
Mm-hmm, yeah. I mean,
it's nice to see that he's getting in contact and communication with other superheroes, especially since, Iron Man's gone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially because with what happened in WandaVision and Loki, people are wondering what the hell is going to happen to the multiverse. And now we see this trailer and Doctor Strange is in it and he's got a whole movie tied to the multiverse. And we're like, oh, we are not ready.
Yeah. Yeah. After that tease in Far From Home about the multiverse, finally, we're going to get to see it.
This is going to be one wild ride.
I mean, I don't know what to expect. Like, I'm excited, like everybody else is, I would imagine. But also, I'm thinking, there's a lot of characters in this movie. Yeah, I'm kind of worried a little bit.
You're cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same way, but at the same time, we just gotta wait and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And December's like right around the corner, so we won't have to wait too long.
I know. Where did the year go? It's almost 2022. What the hell?
Yeah, and people are still trying to process 2020.
Yeah, for real. That was like 2 days ago.
It feels like it was 2 days ago.
I know, man.
All right. We have any final things to say regarding films as a whole?
No, not really. I pretty much said what I want to say already. I'm very excited for what's coming up.
All right. So I guess we're looking forward to our next trip to the movies.
Yep. Probably on Friday.
All right. I think we're going to end it there. So thank you all for listening to this special episode of the Null and Void podcast. As always, we are 2/3 of Team Null. I'm Aaron.
Emmanuel.
And we'll catch y'all next time. Peace, love, hair grease.
Later.